Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we are jumping headfirst into some truly imaginative game design ideas, stuff that really pushes the boundaries.
Yeah, we've been looking at sources exploring concepts that go way beyond, normal difficulty or how rare items usually are.
Exactly. Thinking about challenges, items, systems that kind of defy expectations, and maybe even change how we approach, like, competitive games.
That's right. The source material is this really interesting conversation asking some big questions, like can a game actually be unbeatable?
And what makes players chase that stuff? The super hard challenges or items that are almost impossible to get.
And maybe the most fascinating bit, how could these ideas shake up something as complex as, say, multiplayer design?
So our mission today, for you listening, is to kind of walk through these concepts, understand the player psychology behind it all.
And see how these, let's call them wild ideas, could actually lead to richer, more surprising, and maybe ultimately more rewarding ways to play games.
Okay, so let's unpack this, starting with the idea of a challenge that seems, well, unbeatable.
Yes.
Or maybe it is designed that way.
What does that even look like in a real game?
Well, the sources had some classic examples.
Yeah.
Think Tetris on the Game Boy, the endless mode.
Yeah, no windscreen there.
Right. It just speeds up and speeds up
Yeah.
forever
Yeah.
until, you physically can't keep up. It's unbeatable because of human limits. The design dictates you lose eventually.
So that's unbeatable by, like, system design. Then you have games that are practically unbeatable for, well, almost everyone, like Ghosts and Goblins.
Oh, God, yes. Or
Yep.
Super Ghouls and Ghosts. Notoriously hard.
And you had to beat it, then beat it again on a harder setting for the real ending. Most players just couldn't. They tapped out.
The pain, and modern games still do this, right?
Yeah.
Doom, 2016. Doom Eternal. Ultra Nightmare Mode.
One life, permadeath, you die, you are right back at the very, very start.
That was designed to be this monumental, almost impossible task. And it actually stayed unbeaten for quite a while after release, didn't it?
It did. And you see it in games like Yooka-Laylee and The Impossible Lair 2. The name says it all, really.
Yeah. Set the expectation.
It throws this massive challenge at you right away, but it's kind of designed for you to come back later after you've powered up through the main game. It basically tells you, look, this is probably too much right now.
And then there's the whole fan scene. Kaizo Mario World hacks.
Oh yeah, intentionally unfair.
Mm.
Almost cruel sometimes, built for a tiny audience that wants that insane level of difficulty.
Or stuff like, I want to be the Bashi. Just brutally, hilariously hard platforming by design.
These aren't just hard, they're filters, designed to weed out everyone except this tiny elite group who can actually tolerate and eventually overcome that level of punishment.
The source even mentioned rumors, right? Challenges that might be genuinely impossible.
Yeah, like fan-made to-who bosses with insane bullet patterns, or maybe custom Doom wads that are mathematically impossible for a human, or even those hardcore Iron Man runs in strategy games.
Like XCOM or Stellaris on max difficulty with extra self-imposed rules.
Exactly, where there might be literally 0 recorded wins under specific conditions. The idea that a digital challenge could actually exceed human ability. That's pretty fascinating.
So, okay, you have this whole spectrum of extreme difficulty. How do people actually feel about it? It seems like it splits players quite a bit.
Oh, absolutely. The source material breaks down these player types really well. You've got your challenge seekers, the hardcore crowd.
Their motto is basically, if it's hard, it's worth doing.
Pretty much. Bragging rights are part of it, sure, but it's also about self-mastery. Like that quote, if I'm not dying, I'm not learning. Failure is just data.
These are the folks beating Souls games with dance pads, right? Speed running, grinding for hours, the struggle is the point.
Then you have the tryhards, but proud. They'll tackle the hard modes, but more for personal satisfaction.
Like, I want to earn the real ending, even if it takes ages.
Yeah, they respect the challenge. They'll put in the effort if the payoff feels worth it, whether that's story or just completion.
But let's be honest, most players are probably normal enjoyers.
Right, they're playing for fun, the story, the mechanics. Extreme difficulty, that just sounds like work. Or frustration.
Their view is often, why suffer when I could just, enjoy the game? They're fine with hard modes existing, but not for them.
And then, critically, the skeptics, they often see extreme difficulty, especially if it feels cheap, as just bad design.
They want fairness, balance. You talk about fake difficulty, instant deaths, unfair AI, that stuff.
Their take is pretty blunt. This isn't challenging, it's just tedious or unfair.
And lastly, the spectators. They don't even play it.
Nope. They watch streamers fail spectacularly and eventually triumph on Twitch or YouTube For them, the difficulty is the entertainment.
Like that quote, I'd never play it, but watching someone beat Sekiro with a steering wheel, insane. The struggle becomes content.
So yeah, incredibly different reactions, all from the same design choice.
Which brings us back to that core question. Can a game designed to be maybe literally unbeatable actually work for all these different players? Seems like a contradiction.
It does, but the source suggests, yeah, it's possible, if the design keeps that player diversity in mind.
How?
It works if the game is more about the experience, the journey itself, rather than just hitting some impossible finish line. Think Tetris again, or getting over it.
Oh, the cauldron guy with the hammer, where you can lose hours of progress in seconds.
Exactly. Winning, there isn't really a traditional victory. It's about the personal climb, the accomplishment.
So different players find their own goals within it.
Precisely. The hardcore players chase speedrun times. Casuals might just try to get past that one tricky bit. Spectators watch for the drama, the failures, the eventual success. It works because success is defined by the player, not just the game.
And being upfront helps, right? If the game says, hey, you probably won't beat this.
Totally. Manages expectations, players can focus on improving or just messing with the mechanics.
And progress needs to feel meaningful even without winning, like in Hades or Slay the Spire.
Yes. Those games nail it. You fail constantly. But each run unlocks something, teaches you patterns, reveals lore. Failure feels like a step forward, not just hitting a wall. You feel smarter, stronger, even when you lose.
Okay, so when does this kind of design just fail? When does it fall flat?
When it's just punishment without purpose, no learning, no progress, just frustration. And crucially, if you lock important stuff, the main story, key features behind an impossible wall, that just annoys people.
Or if it feels like the devs are just trolling.
Yeah, that gets maybe a brief laugh on stream, but it doesn't build loyalty. It has to feel intentional and rewarding in some way, even if that reward isn't winning.
Okay, that makes sense for challenges. How does this translate to items? Can you make items super rare or even unattainable in a way that's compelling, not just annoying? The sources had some wild ideas here.
Oh, they did. First one, the ultimate item, locked behind a boss that is literally unbeatable.
Okay, wait, so the game tells you, best item here, guarded by this boss, and you absolutely cannot beat this boss. What happens then?
Well, the hardcore players, they'd probably obsess. Try every cheese, every build, looking for that one hidden trick. Might feel cheated if it's truly, truly impossible.
Tryhards would probably bash their heads against it for a bit, then hit the forums.
Yeah. Casuals might just ignore it, maybe find it weird. Skeptics, bad design instantly.
But the spectators.
They'd love it, watching streamers try the impossible. Perfect viral bait.
So how do you make that work without everyone hating it?
Rule 1. Absolutely optional. No main story, no true ending locked behind it. It needs to feel like a deep hidden secret. Maybe the boss's invincibility is part of the lore. It's an ancient god, a force of nature, not just a tough enemy.
So the item becomes legendary because it's guarded by the unstoppable. The myth is the point.
Exactly. And you gotta reward the attempt. Give players unique dialogue for trying. Maybe lore drops about the Guardian. Maybe even, like the source suggested, put their name on an in-game gravestone if they fall to it.
Celebrate the attempt, the curiosity.
Right. And maybe add just enough ambiguity. Is there really no way? Keep that tiny sliver of doubt alive. Fuels theory crafting.
Like the Dark Souls pendant. Did it do something? Probably not. But
Yeah.
people talked about it for years. The mystery was the content.
Precisely. And the item itself shouldn't break the game. Maybe it's cosmetic. Maybe it's powerful but unusable. You're not worthy. A symbol, not just gear.
Okay, concept 2. The infinitely rare procedural drop. Best weapon, maybe, but the drop chance is like 0.000, lots of zeros, 1%. Statistically near impossible.
Yeah, this is your classic looter MMO grind, just dialed way, way up.
How do players react to that?
Hardcore grinders see it as the ultimate challenge. Okay, I gotta kill this thing 10 trillion times. Optimizers will run the math. Is the time investment worth that tiny, tiny chance? Casuals, nope, not for me. Skeptics, artificial content extension.
But spectators again.
Fascinated. Will anyone ever find this thing? It creates legends. When someone finally gets it, it's huge news in the community.
We've seen bits of this, right? Tyrael's Might in D2, early G. Allerhorn in Destiny, RuneScape party hats.
Exactly. Those things become legendary partly because of their rarity. It can work, but usually in games built for massive replayability. The item becomes a meme, community lore, the cosmic banana gun.
But players need some hope, right?
Crucial. The game should confirm it can drop. A silhouette in the collection log. Something. You need to know the grind isn't literally for nothing.
And where does it fail?
If it becomes pay to win, obviously, or if it's required for high-level play, if the rarity feels fake, or if it's pure RNG with zero player agency involved.
Solutions often involve pity timers, right?
Yeah.
Or crafting paths, transparent drop rates.
Yeah, ways to mitigate pure luck while still keeping it rare, or tying it to lore in a cool way.
Okay, third item concept. Crafted item needing a full year of daily logins. Do a specific task every single day for 365 days.
Oof. That one's about sheer dedication over luck or skill. Think long grinds in RuneScape for skill capes, complex Warframe crafting, daily loops in Genshin.
Player reactions must be all over the place.
Totally. Completionists might love the prestige. Hardcore players respect the grind. Casuals ignore it. But anyone prone to FOMO, anxiety central if they miss a day, critics just call it artificial padding.
So how do you make that one work without burning people out?
Ideally, the item is symbolic. A cool cosmetic, a title, a trophy-proven commitment, not essential power. Flexibility is key. Let players miss days and catch up, maybe stockpile resources.
And the daily task can't be the same button click for a year.
God, no. Needs variety. Milestones along the way are vital too. Little rewards to keep you going. And obviously, the game itself needs to be something you'd want to play daily for a year. A live service game, usually.
When does it fail? No flexibility, soul-crushing repetition. It's required for endgame, no intermediate rewards, hidden rules. Yeah, recipe for resentment.
It needs to feel like a marathon you chose to run and got a cool medal for, not a mandatory sentence.
Okay, let's flip that. What about an item everyone gets easily, like First Quest? Seems useless, but secretly becomes amazing later on, hinted only by obscure lore.
Ah, now this is a brilliant pattern. Rewards curiosity, deep engagement, pays off unexpected dedication.
Like the Dark Souls pendant again, or Nair. Automata's weapon stories that evolve. The Broken Machine in Earthbound.
Exactly, or even Zelda's Korok seeds. You get a joke item first, but collecting hundreds unlocks vital inventory space. A major upgrade hidden behind a seemingly minor collectible.
People get attached to starting gear sometimes. Making it relevant later feels personal.
It really does. It rewards players who read descriptions, dig into lore, or just kind of hoard weird stuff just in case. And when the secret gets out, massive community buzz. Wait, that piece of junk I sold 50 hours ago!
Risks, though. Too obscure, maybe only found by data mining. Or it is required, punishing players who didn't know. Or the payoff is weak.
Yeah, gotta balance it. Plant subtle clues, item text, NPC hints, environmental details. Maybe it interacts strangely in one specific late-game spot. Give it a gradual upgrade path so it doesn't feel totally useless for ages, and the final form should count thematically. A rusty key becomes the Ancestor's Whisper, scaling with quests completed.
Cool. What about an item that's super powerful, but nobody knows exactly what its advantage is? No description, maybe just a tiny chance to insta-kill anything.
Ooh. That taps right into player mystery and, frankly, conspiracy theories. Find an item called Odd Lump, no stats, but sometimes big enemies just vanish when you have it equipped.
Players would go nuts trying to figure that out.
Totally. Obsessively testing, debating online. Did that boss just trip, or was it the Odd Lump? It rewards super deep observation, fuels endless discussion.
High risks, though. Too obscure, effect never noticed. Too powerful, breaks the game. Data mined instantly, mystery gone. Or it does basically nothing, feels like a troll.
Right. Smart implementation means the effect is rare but noticeable when it happens. A subtle visual cue, a unique sound, vague description, passive effect. Thematic link, maybe it represents chaos or fate. Games like Path of Exile, Binding of Isaac, Elden Ring use vague items brilliantly to encourage experimentation.
These unknown items become legends, partly because the community has to figure them out together.
Exactly. Makes the world feel deeper, more mysterious. Okay, next level. A one-of-a-kind cosmetic in an MMO. Only one exists in the entire world at any time. Zero gameplay advantage.
Why would anyone care? In a game about power progression?
Pure social prestige. It's the ultimate status symbol. You become that player. Wow, you have the Sovereign's crown. It generates stories, community history, status without power creep. That's huge for game health.
We see echoes of this, right?
Yeah.
RuneScape party hats, WoW's Scarab Lord, unique EVE ships.
Absolutely. Best ways to do it. Maybe a one-time reward for solving a massive global puzzle, or ARG. Or temporary ownership that rotates via a unique event, a duel, an auction. Maybe it reflects the owner's achievements visually. Or spawns under super obscure world conditions.
Downsides.
Could become obsolete if the game changes drastically. It can definitely breed jealousy. And if the owner quits, poof, the legendary item is gone.
How do you mitigate that?
Frame the reward around discovery or community effort, not just grinding. And maybe have a system where if the owner is inactive for, say, 30 days, the item is reclaimed and a new event starts to earn it again. Keeps it circulating, keeps the legend alive, like the Echo Crown reflecting server constellations, then vanishing to trigger a new puzzle.
Okay, last item idea. Super powerful, but locked behind a ridiculously complex combo. Multiple conditions, precise timing.
Peak skill expression. You get the Fractured Fang sword, looks okay, but the lore hints. Then players figure it out. Under 25% HP, 3 debuffs active, perfect dodge, counterattack kill. Then the Fang awakens for 15 seconds.
And it goes crazy. Stats skyrocket, infinite stamina, explosions.
Yeah. The ultimate earned power fantasy. Rewards technical mastery, system knowledge, creates that hidden tech high-level players love finding.
Like Devil May Cry style system, Neo's Awakened States, fighting game supers.
Exactly those vibes. It's not enough to have the item, you need the skill to unlock it and tie it to lore. The Fang bites hardest when the wielder bleeds. Theme meets mechanics.
Okay, wow. These are fascinating ideas for solo play or maybe small groups. But how do you bring this kind of complexity? Sometimes deliberate imbalance, hidden info, massive skill gaps into big multiplayer settings, MMOs, PvP, without breaking everything or alienating half the players.
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? It can work, but requires really careful thought. Take that skill-gated item, the Fractured Fang, in an MMO.
Yeah. How does that not just become mandatory?
You frame it clearly as an elite prestige reward. Make it optional, not needed for standard raids or dungeons. Maybe its full power only shines in solo content or very specific niche situations, not the absolute best in slot for everything.
And offer other ways to get prestige, crafting cool cosmetics, exploration achievements.
Exactly. Alternate paths so players who can't pull off the combo still feel rewarded. And encourage the community around it. Guides, videos of awesome moments. Think WoW's old legendaries, GW2's elite spec weapons, FFX IV relics. Coveted, respected, but not mandatory for everyone.
What about PvP? Can you bring back that feeling of like the old arena shooter, power weapons, the BFG, the rocket launcher? Huge impact, but limited.
Oh man, those were moments. They kind of faded because, well, getting instantly deleted and waiting isn't always fun. Plus, esports demanded tighter balance, more accessibility.
But you could bring it back, right? Carefully.
Yeah. Keep cooldowns long, maybe faster respawns, or limit them to certain modes. Gate the ability behind skill, a tough shot to land. Add huge visual and audio tells, make it an event players see coming.
Like a wizard's Cataclysm of Fire Ultimate.
Perfect example. Big area, clear warning signs, long cast time, long cooldown. Caster is vulnerable. Skilled players can dodge or interrupt. It becomes this strategic focal point. Team has to protect the caster. Enemy has to disrupt them. It's spectacle and strategy.
That idea of the vulnerable caster needing protection, it ties into asymmetric roles, right? Like old RPGs where you could specialize so hard you needed your party.
Exactly. Forces real teamwork. The glass cannon wizard needs protection. The team needs the wizard's power. It layers strategy onto just clicking buttons.
Could you take asymmetry even further, like a permanent stealth scout? 0 lethal damage output.
The Ghost Scout trades all killing power for pure intel, infiltration, sabotage. Permanent stealth unless acting or detected. Marks targets, hacks objectives, creates diversions. Super fragile, totally reliant on the team acting on their info.
Creates amazing tension, rewards Mac knowledge, offers a truly non-lethal role.
Now, what if players could shift these roles? Not mid-fight, but between objectives. Use crafting or loadouts to switch from Ghost Scout to, say, Heavy Bruiser, you are what you craft.
Player identity driven by gear and skills. That sounds cool.
Yeah. Your function evolves. Teams have to adapt. Wait, where did their scout go? Oh crap, he's now a demolition expert pushing mid. Encourages experimentation emergent tactics developers didn't even plan.
But you need limits, like you said. Can't swap instantly in a firefight.
Right, gotta balance freedom and fairness. Combat lockouts. Respect maybe only in safe zones, or at team-controlled stations, maybe with a cooldown or cost. Loadout presets could take time or resources to activate. Makes map control vital. Where did the any team go to regear? Intel becomes king.
So the end goal is making even wild team comps viable, like 3 ghosts versus 3 bruisers, fun and fair.
Asymmetry by choice, not imbalance. The map itself becomes the balancer. Ghosts use hidden paths, bruisers can't. Bruisers activate anti-stealth fields. Ghosts have to disable. Different tools, different objectives.
Win conditions aren't just KD ratio. Ghosts win by sabotage, bruisers by holding ground. different verbs.
Exactly. Maybe ghosts operate in the Veil, bruisers draw power from the Forge, lore meets mechanics. A ghost team could win the objective with almost 0 kills because they played the map and the roles perfectly. No single meta dominates.
Okay, crucial part. How do you make sure people actually play this potentially complex PvP, especially PvE players, and stop them from just cheesing it for rewards?
This is key for any live game. You tie long-term account progression cosmetics, crafting unlocks, maybe class variants to participation and hitting objectives in PvP, not just winning.
So you need battlefield points or something.
Yeah, earned only by engaging, capturing points, assisting teammates, disrupting enemies, completing role-specific tasks. You don't have to win the match, but you do have to play your part.
Makes PvP essential for the full game experience, but not necessarily about being the top killer, like a living war affecting the world.
Exactly. Plus, add role mastery tracks, get prestige, cosmetics, maybe small perks for playing lots of Ghost or Bruiser. Rewards dedication to a playstyle, even if you're not winning every match.
So rewards for contribution, linking progression to participation. Seems like it counters a lot of common frustrations.
That's the idea. Rewarding both teams for hitting objectives encourages staying in matches. Linking progress makes PvP relevant without forcing a win-at-all-costs grind.
But players are smart, sneaky creatures. What about cheesing? Staging matches, AF King, farming easy objectives, Discord exploits.
Always a challenge. But these systems have defenses. Staged matches, track engagement metrics, flag weird low conflict patterns, AF curs. Don't earn points because progress needs active input across categories. Farming safe objectives, diminishing returns, rotating priorities.
What if one player AFKs but their team carries them?
Could reduce rewards for the carrying team, or maybe give the disadvantaged team a bonus for helping the other team complete their objectives. Turns a bad situation into weird cooperation.
Or those unique personal objectives you mentioned earlier.
Yes. Secret bonus objective only gives points if contested, forces interaction, can't just farm points safely, makes matches less predictable.
And communication exploits. Sharing secret goals on Discord.
Turn it into a feature. Villain quests, secret missions against your own team, lead teammates into ambush, sabotage friendly resource, misinform. Quest rules prevent you from telling your team directly.
Whoa. Instant paranoia and drama.
Pure emergent storytelling. Do I betray my team for the big reward? Fuels suspicion, tense communication. Imagine one player needs to cause an ambush, another has a secret don't die quest, a third needs to capture point C alone. Chaos.
And that kind of dynamic, unpredictable stuff is super hard for bots to handle.
Exactly. Natural bot deterrent. Basic botting yields almost nothing. You've built a system where playing properly is more rewarding than trying to cheese it.
It really sounds like these concepts, woven together, could tackle a lot of modern game issues. Stale metas, burnout grinds, losing feeling awful, predictable PvP.
That's the hope, right? Moving past simple stats to create depth, strategy, surprise, and those memorable player stories, those aha moments. Keeping things fresh for everyone, solo grinders to competitive teams. Creating systems that resist being solved too easily, that foster skill, knowledge, and shared legends.
Where skill isn't just reflexes, but knowing the world, reading people, communicating, adapting.
And we're just participating meaningfully, discovering secrets, contributing to the bigger picture feels genuinely rewarding, not just the win screen.
So, for you listening, think about it. How would your favorite game change if it had one of these wild ideas? An unbeatable guardian, a starter item with a secret endgame purpose, and a dynamic PCP role. What secrets might you uncover?
Or what kind of crazy, unpredictable moments could happen if ultimate power needed perfect team coordination? Or if maybe, just maybe, your closest ally had a secret objective to betray you?
Definitely something to think about.